えるだけ的な、もう食べ方全然わかんなかった。いや、この話おもろいか。
美味しかった。
かなりめちゃくちゃ。そうだ、谷君も食べに行くなんつって。
いいよ。
Dude, this anime is so dang cute. It's not the most thought out love story, and it's not going to create anything new, although it does do something a little different, which I'll touch on later. But this is an anime that just reminds me of why I love anime in the first place. What's going on, Nexians? Welcome back. And to those of you who are new, welcome on in. Today, I'm starting a new series that I'm going to be calling Sunday Suggestions. Every Sunday or every other Sunday, something like that, I haven't decided, I'm going to recommend something that I like or believe isn't that well known or talked about. Whether it be anime, manga, games, TV shows, books, movies, anything nerdy that's been living in my head rent-free lately. Maybe it'll be something you've never heard of, or maybe it'll be something quite popular. Hell, sometimes it'll be something I'm challenging you all to give a different perspective and give more love, because let's be real, finding something good to watch when you get your food can be harder than beating Elden Ring for the first time. And today's recommendation took me by surprise completely. It's a cute little anime by the name of You and I Are Polar Opposites, which, like, yeah, I know it sounds like a cringe movie your mom might make you watch with her when you're a kid, but like, I promise it's quite a good watch and one of the more charming and wholesome romances I've seen in a while. Now, you're probably like, okay Ren, why should I watch romance anime number 15? And honestly, that's a fair question, but you gotta hear me out. We've all watched the romance anime where the two characters obviously like each other. They make eye contact across the classroom and immediately start buffering. The constant misunderstandings, the accidental hand touches, the friend group playing wingman for like 37 episodes. And look, don't get me wrong, that stuff is pretty cute, and is part of why people enjoy the genre. But You and I Are Polar Opposites does something that immediately won me over. It starts with the relationship actually becoming a thing. Opposed to spending the entire series asking will they get together, the story asks a much more interesting question. What happens after they do? Because getting into a relationship isn't the finish line, it's the starting line. Now, the story gets to focus on communication, insecurities, growing together, and figuring out how two very different people actually make a relationship work. And in my opinion, this is where the series really shines. The biggest reason it works, at least for me, is because the characters feel like actual people. Not romance tropes attempting to be people, but actual people. Teenagers trying to navigate friendships and just life in general. This is where I'd like to add I watched it in dub, and oh my god, did it add so much to the watching experience. I tend to pick if I watch sub or dub depending on how I first see the anime, so if I see a clip in dub, then I watch it in dub. And that's just how my brain works. But why does the dub add so much more? It uses slang and modern day culture references, which I love. And no, I'm not calling it Gen Z slang, fight with someone else. To me, it makes it so much more enjoyable. The dub allows them to be cringe with their friends, like we literally all do. Taida literally calls himself a chud.
That broke.
And now I'm eavesdropping on them like a total chud.
Suzuki says let me go get my man, and it's hilarious.
Catch him if you run.
Gotta fight for love! Get your man!
I'm going! Don't worry about the popcorn, we'll eat it without you! That's fine, I don't care!
And speaking of Suzuki, let's talk about her. So, Suzuki, she's the main girl. On the surface, she's the extroverted, quirky, popular girl. We've all seen this archetype a million times in real life and in media. However, what I actually enjoy about her character is despite her bravado, she's pretty hyper aware of social norms and what other people think of her. She wants everyone to get along, and she desires people to like her. And she sometimes burns herself out to do it. And to some people, that's incredibly relatable. And moreover, I know people who are actually like this, which inevitably is why she's so drawn to the main boy, Tani. This is just because Tani says whatever's on his mind without much fluff, which is quite refreshing to Suzuki's overthinking mind. Now, on to my boy Tani. He isn't just a mysterious Sasuke archetype, he's just comfortable in his own skin, something we should all strive to be. As the series goes on, at least the anime, we get to see that he isn't as shy as most of the archetype tend to be. He's just reserved and doesn't really care to interact with people. But through Suzuki, he begins to interact with her friend group, and it brings out a side in Tani that not only others didn't know, but he himself didn't realize existed. He also does something positively lovely for Suzuki. He shows her that she can just be herself and that she doesn't always have to perform for everyone around her in order to matter. Now, the MCs are great, but if your supporting cast are weak sauce, then who really cares, right? But no, the supporting cast are all pretty good, and honestly, they could be MCs to their own slice of life, and I genuinely adore this. Since I mentioned Taida earlier, let's talk about him first. He's a cynical high school boy who takes himself way too serious, often mocking others and saying what he would do in situations he himself has likely never been in, and we see this with the situation with Azuma that comes up later. And this is where I add that Azuma is very clearly his pairing here, but that's besides the point. He reacts and gets upset for her in a situation surrounding her love life, which up until this point is shockingly out of character for my guy.
いやいやいや、怒れよ。さっきからつうかこの前だって雑な連絡してきた元カレも面合わせた時だけ友達ムーブする女子もこの後に及んであわよくばワンチャン狙ってるそいつもちゃんとお前と向き合わないし生産もしない。そのくせ悪者になる度胸もない。人のこと舐めすぎだろ。雑に扱われてんだからちゃんと怒れよ。東だけがすり減ってんじゃん。割に合わねえだろそんなの。
And speaking of Azuma, she's a pretty good portrayal of being a teenager too, in my opinion. Because a lot of media tend to display teenagers as one of three things: a bastion of hope and all things goodness taking on unrealistic odds, completely flat, or super evil drug kingpin. And like, come on dude, nobody's going to like 5th period and after that going to sell drugs. Like, I mean like maybe, but that's not most of us. And Azuma is none of these. Her relationship life, by her own admittance, is messy. A lot of our teenage relationships are messy. She literally says she's attracted to terrible guys, but she doesn't want to be, and she can't really understand why. Which is why I love her and Taida's interaction. They literally complete each other. And to top it off, my boy Yamada. He's the group clown. He's a dork and loves to make everyone laugh. But that's the sincere part of his character. He isn't annoying, and he genuinely cares about people around him. As you can see with his budding relationship with Nishi, a really shy girl who gets her enjoyment from eavesdropping on other people. Not really in a malicious way, but because interactions are genuinely too much for her. But literally upon laying eyes on her, Yamada had become completely smitten with her, and slowly tries to open her shell and get her to talk to him. This guy's literally the definition of a golden retriever, and it actually works. Suffice it to say, the show's cast are very human and enjoyable to watch grow. Which is why, despite it being quite short, it does a good job at getting you invested. These characters aren't perfect. They're awkward and messy in the very best way. They overthink, underreact, and make mistakes, like we all do. And when a story does that right, it becomes so much easier to enjoy. Realistically, this is why this anime is so easy for me to recommend. If you're looking for something high stakes where people are getting smoked and everyone's crying every episode, this isn't going to be your thing, and that's okay. But if you're looking for something wholesome, funny, pretty authentic, and down to earth, I believe this anime is for you. It's not action-packed or fast-paced like a super dramatized romance, but again, there are other shows for you, and it's okay. However, if you're looking for something a little slower, with a solid cast of likable characters, and away from the will they won't they trope, and actual human characters and not NPCs, then dude, you'd absolutely love this show. And as of right now, it's only 12 episodes, so it's not even a daunting task to sit and binge. I'm guilty of doing it, so I would know. This is why I'm making You and I Are Polar Opposites the very first suggestion on Sunday Suggestions. It's wholesome, funny, surprisingly mature, and packed with characters that feel like actual people. It isn't trying to reinvent romance, and it doesn't need to. Instead, it focuses on doing little things really well, and sometimes that's all a story needs. If you got a free afternoon, some food, and nothing to watch, give this one a shot. Worst case scenario, you spend a few hours watching some lovable goobers navigate life. Best case scenario, you find your next favorite romance. Alright guys, we're done here. And thanks for hanging out with me and listening to me yap about a romance anime for a few minutes. If you've seen You and I Are Polar Opposites, let me know what you think about it below. And if you have something that I should watch, read, or play, and then subsequently recommend on a Sunday suggestion, let me know. If you enjoyed your time here, drop a like and subscribe to let me know you like it here. And if not, that's okay too. Hanging out here with me was all I asked for. And as always, stay loving, stay goofy, and this is your captain, signing out.